outlook for the week starting June 17th, 2019. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining me for this week's video reading. This week I was feeling the itch to work with a Lenormand deck, so I'm going to be working with the second of two new decks that arrived and I've added to my collection. A couple of weeks ago I worked with the first of them, and that was the Sienna Lenormand. This week I'm going to be working with the Matilda Lenormand. And just like the Sienna Lenormand, the deck is by Lynn Boyle, and I will be leaving a link in the description box below so you can learn more about the deck. So again, I'm going to be working with the Matilda Lenormand, and now that I've set things up, let's get to the table and take a closer look at the cards that are going to be making up this week's video reading. And here we are with the cards on the table, and I'm going to take a few moments to shuffle the deck. And as I do, I'm asking for the information, for the insight, for the guidance and advice. It's going to be most helpful and beneficial as we move through the upcoming week. So I'm shuffling that intention into the cards. I'm feeling one more time will be good. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck. And fan the cards out. And these days I've been working with the pyramid spread, and I'm going to stick to that this week because every week that I do it, it becomes more and more popular, which I'm very happy to see. So it consists of 6 cards. So I'm looking for 6 cards in the fan that are getting my attention. This is card 4, and right here is card 5. I'm looking for the 6th and final card. Go with this one. All right, so that's the cards for the week, and I'm going to take the remainder of the deck up and we'll put that to one side. And now I'm going to take a moment to count the cards back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's just to make sure I have all 6. And now I'm going to lay them out. If you're new to seeing the pyramid spread, the first card goes at the very top, and it represents the issue at hand. Then cards 2 and 3 go one tier below it on opposite sides, and they represent factors that are contributing to the issue at hand, right? I always look at it as, especially with Lenormand, if this is the issue, these 2 cards describe the issue more in detail. And then the last 3 cards go at the bottom of the pyramid. They form the foundation. And these cards can represent ways in which the issue at hand can play out, right? So they represent potential outcomes, right? Okay, so now that the cards have been laid out, let's start looking at them with the issue card first. And here we have stars. Okay. So this reminds me a little bit of last week's playing card reading, in that stars can represent, you know, a wish coming true. This is a wish fulfillment card, right? So again, we had that repeating image, or that interpretation, I should say, because last week we had the 9 of Hearts in playing card cartomancy. That is known as the wish card. So we're having another week of the possibility of seeing a hope or a wish being fulfilled or granted, right? Another aspect of this for some people, that we are focusing on becoming clear about maybe an issue or a particular situation. And again, we'll take a look at the second row of cards because they may give us more about that. But this card for me can represent clarity. It can also represent guidance and direction. And that is because in previous times, people were led to follow the stars, and they believed that the stars were offering guidance and direction, right? So there is that too. So stars can represent guidance or direction. So there could be, along with the clarity aspect of stars, that we are seeking guidance and direction. Another aspect of this card is, and I play on this idea of being a life coach, this card could be about goals and wanting to see some goal achieved, right? And maybe seeking guidance and direction around how that's going to happen. But stars can also turn up to say, take a look at what it is that we are inspired by. This card can represent inspiration, and also to what we aspire to. This card can also represent aspirations. So this is about inspiration and aspirations. So again, stars can represent hopes and wishes, clarity, guidance and direction, inspiration and aspiration, and seeing some kind of goal achieved. So that is stars. So now let's take a look at what's going on with the second tier. So on the left of stars, we have tree. Okay, so for some people, this card could suggest growth and development of some kind, right? So this could be seeking ways, in terms of guidance and direction, to grow and develop something. Another aspect of this card is that it's healing. So this could be, for some people, there is, putting some energy or effort into healing a situation, right? Because again, this card can represent health and well-being and healing. So it could just be, if we're talking about goals, and maybe somebody's goal is to attain or achieve a greater sense of health or well-being. Now, someone could also be seeking guidance and direction around something having to do with something health related, because sometimes for me this card can carry with it the sense of something that we are dealing with in terms of physical well-being, and it turns out it's a hereditary thing, because tree can represent families. I go with the idea that this could represent family tree. So this could be representing some sort of guidance and direction around physical well-being, and it has to do with a hereditary condition. And going with that, it could also be that we are looking for guidance and direction on healing a situation that has to do with extended family members. Again, going with the idea that the tree can represent family tree, right? So it wouldn't be immediate family. It would be extended family, right? So it would be somebody who's family, but maybe not close family or not immediate family. And then going with that, if we go with the idea that I'm sticking with the family tree aspect of tree, then somebody may be seeking some guidance and direction about one's ancestry or one's lineage, because the stars card can represent the internet. So it's making me feel like somebody's like on ancestry.com or doing something where they're trying to discover what their family roots are. And they're using the internet to do that. So again, tree can represent growth and development. Now, if somebody's dealing with something around growth and development, tree offers the advice that you have to be patient. When tree comes up, it can represent this is a time to plant seeds and be patient in the process of growth and development. Now, if we go with the idea, like I said, about goal, a goal being attained or achieved, it could be around healing, like somebody is wanting to become a healer. So I'm seeing this as maybe the inspiration or aspiration, stars, of becoming a healer, tree, right? And then again, somebody may be putting some effort into healing, and that could be healing with a family related situation, or that they are seeking some sort of guidance and direction around something having to do with a condition that's hereditary, or searching for one's ancestry or lineage, and they may be going about it by doing something on like Ancestry, something on the internet. So that's how I would look at tree. So now let's take a look on the other side of the stars. And here we have the woman card. So here we have an issue that involves a woman directly, right? Because the woman card simply means that there's a woman who's playing a role or a part in the situation, right? And the interesting thing is that if I put the card down, then the woman has her back to stars and tree, right? So this could be saying too that there's a woman who's struggling, because I read cards sometimes that are behind the significator card as an issue that they're struggling with. So somebody may be struggling with guidance and direction. Somebody may be struggling with a goal, trying to achieve it, or having a wish fulfilled. And then somebody also may be dealing with an issue around growth and development, or something having to do with extended family, or wanting to heal something from the past. Cards behind the person also represent the past, so this could be healing a past situation. Trying to put it behind her. But this could also be somebody who is also a healer. If we combine tree and woman, this could represent a woman who's a healer. Right, so we have a couple of possibilities here. We can have a woman who's dealing with a situation that involves extended family and needing to heal that and having some sort of challenge with that. Or a woman who's seeking guidance and direction in her aspiration to become a healer. Or it could just simply be that a woman, if she wants to achieve a goal, that she's going to have to be patient. And she may be struggling with the patience part of that. But this could also be about planting the seeds in terms of attaining a goal or having a wish fulfilled, that we are planting the seeds. And it's either a woman who's directly involved or a woman who's going to play a role or a part in that. Right? So if you're a woman, chances are that the woman card is making some reference to you. And if you're a man watching this video, then the woman would be a woman who's significant to you or connected to you in some significant way. And I play on the idea that this is a significator card. So that's where the word significant comes in, right? And if I read the cards as an arc, here we have healing is the wish or the goal for the woman, right? Or growth and development is the wish or the goal for the woman. Right, so that's how I would look at the first three cards. So now let's take a look at the bottom tier. And here we have so here we have scythe. So the first thing that comes to me with scythe, and I'm going to put this down, if we go with the idea that there is a wish or a hope around healing, then this would make sense. Scythe could be a card that represents, one possibility here is surgery, because this card can represent cutting something or something being cut. So my first go-to with tree and scythe, or scythe and tree in this regard, if we read it up as a pairing, then this could represent a surgical procedure, but it's one that has to do with health. So somebody may be undergoing some kind of health situation, and in order to achieve a particular goal around that or a wish, surgery may be involved. Because here we have the possibility of surgery, scythe and tree, is being offered as guidance or some kind of direction, like there's some sort of direction that we're moving in that direction, like we're being given that guidance, like surgery is necessary. Now, if we're talking about another type of issue, because it doesn't necessarily just mean surgery, this card can also represent something that needs to be cut away, something that needs to be removed, or something that needs to be eliminated, right? It could also represent something that is painful or some kind of hurt. And that would make sense again if we go with the idea that tree talks about healing. So there could be some sort of pain, some sort of hurt, some sort of woundedness that needs healing, right? And if we go with the idea, then this could be, if a woman is involved, it's about something that she endured in her past. Remember now, she's got all the cards behind her, right? So this could be some sort of past hurt, some past wound, some past injury, right? And we're wanting some guidance and direction on how to heal that, right? And again, it may involve, extended family, or that we want to heal it before it grows and develops any further, right? But again, scythe for me can represent some kind of pain, some kind of hurt, some kind of woundedness. Now, scythe can also represent a split, separation, something being severed, or some kind of disconnection. And if we go with that, then tree could talk about there's some kind of disconnection or separation or split with extended family. And again, that may be painful, right? So again, this combination could be talking about, if we're dealing with a health-related issue, one of the outcomes could be like surgery is an outcome here, or surgery is needed or being offered in terms of guidance or direction, like we are moving in that direction where surgery might have to happen. But it could also be like, what do we need to cut out? What do we need to eliminate? What do we need to remove? Because this card would represent cutting something away. So that's how I would look at scythe. So now let's look at the card in the middle. And here we have park, which is also known as garden. So this is a card that can represent other people. So for me, it represents a group of people, a community of people. This card can also represent something being social or something being made public. So now if I put the card down, the first thing that comes to me, because I talked about this idea about stars being the internet. So here we have an internet card, and here we have something having to do with social and the public. So this could be something having to do with social media, perhaps. Being online, and, or maybe an online community or group. Or that we have a wish or a goal, and it may involve other people. Or some kind of group or community. So I'm seeing that as a possibility with park. Again, park can represent other people. I tend to see it as a group or community. It could also represent something having to do with the public or something of a social nature. Now, if we're talking about scythe represents cutting away or splitting something or removing something, then this could be a disconnection again with other people, just like I talked about it here with extended family. So here we have maybe a disconnection with a group, separation from a group or community or some other people. And there's echoes of a reading that I did a couple of weeks ago with the idea we had the woman card with her back to the garden card a couple of weeks ago, where I'm seeing that same kind of imagery again. There's something about a woman maybe needing to kind of sever her ties with people. Some people could be family, extended family, and some people could just be in her social circle. I'm seeing that again. Or that there could be some kind of split or separation that becomes public, right? Here we have scythe, split, separation, park becomes public. Right, and one way it could become public is that somebody posts something online, right? Going with the internet. And I'm seeing another possibility here is that stars and woman could represent maybe somebody who has some kind of online presence, somebody who may be a star, quote unquote. And so maybe something about a separation or a split that she's going through, it becomes public. Like it's a situation that kind of just grows and develops. And then with stars, it's like it spreads, right? Because stars can represent something that spreads. So I'm seeing that as possibility here because again, scythe represents a split, separation, but it can also, because the blade is pointing towards the part card, it could represent that's what's being cut. Other people, something social, something public, or it could be a split, separation that becomes public. Now, I'm also seeing this. It could also be too, if someone needs some kind of surgical procedure, scythe and tree, it could be, you know, other people may need to play a part in that, and there may be something about spreading the word. Stars and Park would be about getting the word out to the public. So it could be about sharing the story. And it could be if it's some kind of hereditary condition, possibly. I'm seeing the idea of like maybe somebody looking for somebody who's kind of a genetic match. So there may be something in which we need to get the word out because there may be something about, you know, finding a person in the public sphere who's some kind of match. So I'm seeing that as well. It's making me think of like issues like having to do with like bone marrow or an organ, like a kidney. I'm seeing in my head, I watch General Hospital, and right now there's a storyline where there's a character who needed a kidney transplant, and so they were on the hunt or on the search for a somebody who was a match, and they went with her family at first, and then they had to go beyond her family to find a match. So I'm seeing something like that in my head. So it could be somebody who needs some kind of surgery, and then scythe would represent something that's sudden or unexpected, or it needs to be swift or fast. And with that, they may be widening the circle of people to find a match. So I'm seeing that as a possibility. So again, there could be a split or something severed regarding the public, or that there's something having to do with some kind of surgical procedure and they need to get more people involved and they're spreading the word. Stars, it's about spreading that, you know, in the hopes or the wish that they find somebody as a match. So that's what I'm seeing. So now let's take a look at the final card. And here we have, yeah. So here we have book. So book is a card that can represent knowledge. And as the last card, it would represent, for me, knowledge being gained. You know, because this card could be about learning something. You know, education. So here we go. I'm seeing here as a possibility, if we talk about the book being about education, then this is about the public being educated. Right? So again, that could play a part again about the public becoming aware of something, or like a group or a community becoming aware of something. They learn about something. Now, it could also be too going with the scenario I just set up with the idea about, you know, spreading the word and getting more people involved. It could be saying too, like because the book is closed on this card, that the situation may be more of a mystery still, because the book is closed. It usually represents either something where the knowledge is not open to the public, which is very interesting because Park is here, or that there's still something that needs to be learned. It's like we don't get the final answer or the knowledge isn't gained, right? We still have to, we're still maybe in the learning stage of that, or trying to access some kind of information or gain some kind of knowledge. Now, this could also be about learning something online, if we go with stars and book, stars being online and book being about education, then this could just be about knowledge that we gain online. And I'm seeing with the woman card in the middle, now this would be also too the idea that maybe something is going to become public regarding a woman, right? Because book and woman could represent a woman who's got a secret, or a woman who's got some kind of mystery, a woman who's keeping some kind of knowledge to herself, closed book. Maybe it's her hope or wish that whatever's going on, that it doesn't become public. So it could just be a matter of she may be going through something that she wants to keep under wraps, or she wants to keep sealed, or keep to herself. And it's a matter of, trying to maybe take some actions to make sure that that does not become public. Now, it could also be, too, if we go with the idea that the stars can represent divination, then here we have something about somebody and reading. That's one of my favorite aspects of Lenormand, is talking about cards that represent reading. So here we have divination, stars, and book being a reader. And then here we have woman in the middle. So this could be the aspiration of a woman to become a reader. And what does that mean? That means that she has to maybe focus on her growth and development, and understanding that the process is going to take time, be patient. And it could be also too like she's going to gain experience by working with a particular group or community. And in sight, I have a positive meaning for sight. If this aspect of it resonates with you about book being a reader, then this card can represent becoming more precise and more accurate with reading, right? And how do you do that? Then the card in the middle says, how do you do that? You focus on reading for other people. So for somebody, if you're a reader, you may be encouraged to move from reading for yourself, woman in book, and maybe focusing on how you can create ways to read for other people. And one way might be to join an online group, right, as a way to branch out, but to become more accurate in your skill. So that whole scenario just popped out at me in the moment. So that's another take on the cards. So again, wrapping up, I'm seeing that there may be a situation that a woman is going through, in particular because we have the woman card. There may be something having to deal with healing a past situation, tree behind her, some kind of disconnection, some kind of split, something that may have been painful, some kind of injury. And I'm talking about injury in the metaphorical sense and wanting to heal that, right? And put the past behind her, right? Could also be that we are needing to take a look at maybe a situation involving extended family or other people and wanting to heal that. And in part, one of the things may be having to kind of sever some kind of relationships, maybe some that are not that healthy. And then there may be somebody who's actually going through some kind of surgical procedure, something that may have to do with something being hereditary. And I'm seeing something having to do with a match, looking for a match and spreading the word and getting out in the community, making the public aware. It's about educating the public being educated, becoming aware, gaining some knowledge about that. And then also to a woman who may be going through some kind of split separation and not wanting the public to find out about it. As well as a person who may be aspiring to become a reader, and you're being encouraged to branch out, and maybe through some online group or community as a way to sharpen your skill and become more precise and accurate in your readings. So on that note, I will go ahead and end this week's Oracle Outlook. I'm James Himm Mitchell, and as I wrap up, I'd like to thank you for sharing space here with me for this week's reading, and I look forward to sharing the same space with you again in our next video reading together. So until then, I'm hoping that you have a wonderful day, and I'm hoping that you have a wonderful week, one in which your hopes and your wishes get fulfilled. Take care.